Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Stoop Stories. This is Nathan. Before we get into today's great episode, I wanted to make a quick announcement that Southwind is hiring in mostly all of our locations. So if you're listening and you need a job, or you have a friend or a family member that needs a job, and you want to work alongside Josh or LaDrew, or just be a part of the Southwind family, we are hiring. So please go visit wearesouthwind.com/careers. There you will find all of our locations and the positions we are hiring. Come be a part of the Southwind family. It'll be the best decision of your life. And without further ado, here's today's episode. Enjoy.
Hey, welcome to episode 24 of Stoop Stories. I'm with my man, LaDrew Murrell, Business Coach at Southwind. I'm Josh Herron, CEO at Southwind. And boy, things are happening around here. And so, a lot of times we get on this podcast and we talk a lot of philosophical strategy, or just how we perceive life. And this time I want us to do something a little different and talk in a more tactical form and give you some tactical, some tactical things you can do when you experience things that are unfortunate and things that are testing you in your life, because we recognize that none of us are immune from being tested and having to dig down deep and figure out a way to overcome whatever adversity is in front of us. LaDrew likes to call this time of life leg day, because nobody likes to do leg day. You go to the gym, everybody is working on the arms and the chest. You see a lot of bench press.
Yes.
You see a lot of curls for the girls. But what you don't see a lot of dudes doing is squatting. Deadlifts, leg day, because it's hard. And when you know you're going to do leg day, you got to mentally position yourself in a way that allows you to actually get through that workout. So tell us us about leg day.
And I would say, hey, let's not leave the ladies out. The stair stepper, those lunges.
Yes, sir.
Right? Leg day is actually the most beneficial day because it helps your body build up more, testosterone to be able to even lift heavier. So you got to have the legs to endure the treadmill workout. Mm-hmm. So that was just a strategy because...
Well, let's do this. Tell us a story of why you wanted to do this episode, because you had leg day yesterday.
Yes.
And I think it's important that we keep it authentic. So talk about leg day, man. What happened yesterday? And because I talked to you in the night, and you're like, man, it was leg day today.
It was leg day. So Hannah and I, my wife Hannah and I, she's building her business, and I'm supporting her the best way I can in that. And every day we ask how each other's day was. And if it was good, we say, hey, it was great. And we start telling why it was great. Or we say, it was leg day. And then we go, oh, shit, okay, let me hear about it and how can I help? So leg day is essentially when something happens today or yesterday or the week before that you did not want to happen. And it causes for serious course correction. It's kind of like going to the gym and you're walking into leg day, so you don't want to do the workout. Mm-hmm. And our buddy Les is going to say, hey, I know we said we're going to do 10 squats, but let's just do 8 and call it good, because it's good enough. I know we're going to do 15 minutes on the stair stepper at maybe level 8 or 9, but let's just do about 5 minutes real hard on level 8. So anytime something is occurring in your life that you wish wasn't there, that's leg day.
So that happened to you yesterday, huh?
Of course.
And it hurt.
It hurt.
Yeah. What is it? You think, what does it hurt the most when that happens?
Your pride, for sure.
Yeah.
Your pride, for sure. So your ego takes a hit, and then you feel a little salty. Mm-hmm. And it causes you to think, I guess more about yourself than the opportunity at hand, mm-hmm. if you're not careful. You had said something to me on that call last night where I was kind of processing through leg day, and you said, when the student is ready, the teacher arrives. Mm-hmm. And oftentimes that's what it takes. To actually increase your bench press or your incline or whatever you're wanting to increase, you've got to do legs. Mm-hmm. So until you learn that, you'll look like the guy in the gym with toothpick legs and real big up top. Okay, and guess what? He cheated to get that way up top by way of steroids or supplements. He didn't earn that. because you can tell by his wheels. Okay. And he's not a real athlete. Put him on the football field and he'll get rocked. Those legs will turn into spaghetti. So yeah, had leg day. Essentially, things didn't go as planned, and when it doesn't, you have to rebuild the Lego set.
I hear you, and that's life, right?
It is.
Lots of times you have a plan, it doesn't go the way you wanted it to go, and you have a couple different opportunities at that point that you can do. You can either bitch and complain about the fact that it didn't go your way and feel sorry and salty and you let your ego get crushed, or you can recognize, first off, that I'm at a point where it's going to be a little bit harder to overcome what I'm going through right now, and it's leg day and it's going to take a little bit more work. And when we're talking here, that feels like the first tactic is be aware enough in your life to understand when you're facing adversity. Mentally preparing yourself and recognizing today is leg day.
Yeah, so can we do something real quick?
Please.
Let's identify some things that would turn a day into leg day.
Yeah.
So, man, your car breaks down in the morning, or you wake up to a flat tire.
Your phone breaks.
Oh, sheesh. Shatters. Can't even see the screen
Lose your phone
anymore.
in the ocean.
It's leg day. Oh, that was you.
Yeah,
leg day.
That was leg day.
You know, there's an illness or injury in the family. You know, right now, my JR has an avulsion fracture in his hip. Javion has to go get an X-ray. Possibly broke his hand in a baseball game this weekend. That's leg day. It's leg week. It might be leg month.
Leg month.
It might be leg month. Alarm clock doesn't go off in the morning, so you wake up behind the ball, possibly late to work.
Yeah.
Maybe you lose a job, or you have to have a difficult conversation with a colleague.
Yeah, you make a plan that doesn't go the way you expected it to go.
That's leg day.
Yes.
All right. So hopefully, we've given you guys some good visuals around what classifies a day as leg day. Or in the words of, you don't finish the honey-do list. I didn't brown the taco meat.
You didn't brown the taco meat.
didn't. That was leg day that night.
That was leg day.
Yes.
It was leg night.
It was leg night. No doubt. So in the past, my education was in the field of education. So I took anatomy and physiology. I took kinesiology, all these courses. So and I taught and coached weights. So let's break down what you did after an actual leg day in the gym or during a workout. So after you do a leg day, you cool down. So you don't just do the squats and leave, or the deadlifts and leave. You cool down. Okay, which could be a series of running. We could do a mile on the track. Something happens on a cool down after leg day. Then you're going to do some static stretches.
Well, let's stop real quick. Your cool down, what is that representative of in real life? Because not everybody's lifting weights right now. I know we're talking about leg day, but we want to make sure we're keeping it real and make sure that people understand we're talking about life here, even though we may be using
without
weights
a doubt,
as an analogy.
In real life, that means you finish the day out and don't be a poop putt. Don't bitch and complain and throw a pity party because leg day came either first thing in the morning, in the middle of the day, in the evening. You have to finish the day out.
Yeah.
You still have to cool down. You can't just quit because things went bad. Okay? So that's your cool down.
Okay.
Finish the day out. Recognize, okay, it's leg day, and there's how many hours still left in the day that I need to execute, and then boom. All right.
What's my alternative if I didn't finish the day out? What would that look like?
That looks like you threw a pity party and you try to get as many people to attend this woe is me. Hey, come listen. I didn't brown the meat. And Hannah was upset. And then this happened, and then that happened.
And the only reason I didn't brown it is because it wasn't according to my plan. I had all these things I wanted to do.
That is what I said.
Yeah, it's exactly what you said.
Yeah. So you just start complaining.
Yeah.
And I call that being
complain and condemn.
Complain and condemn, without a doubt. So man, the cool down is equivalent in life to finish the day strong.
Yes, and I think when I hear you say that, I think have a balanced mindset. Never get too high, never get too low. Recognize that finishing the job, that's something that has to be done.
Yeah. So, after that, after a leg day and you cool down, you've got to do some static stretches to spread out your muscles and get some blood flow throughout. to help the healing process start to occur.
Okay.
So application to business or to life would be, man, you've got to reflect on what you did to create the event that happened.
Yeah, walk me through how you reflect. When you say that all the time, I'm reflecting right now. Walk me through kind of what that looks like for you.
Yeah, so it's really important because initially I want to point fingers.
When something doesn't go right, you initially want to point fingers. Whose fault is it? Because it can't be mine.
Definitely not mine.
Yeah, it can't be my fault.
Yeah.
Somebody did this.
Somebody, it wasn't me.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
You know,
Shit. Who did that?
Who was it? Did you see him, Nate? Did you see anybody who was that was me?
Yeah.
Josh, was it me?
Yeah, it was you.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Right. So I have to reflect because I can trick myself into thinking it wasn't my fault. Right. So I look at the event that took place and all of the things that I could have done that would have made it go as planned.
Yeah.
And then I recognized that was all me.
Well, here's the funny thing about this, and I happen to be, I've happened, on multiple occasions to be part of your reflection processes. We'll talk through something, and it'll be funny from my perspective to hear you trying to go process from point A to point B, and yesterday, one thing I want to caution the listeners on is it's really easy to point fingers and say that something didn't happen because it just wasn't supposed to happen. We weren't ready for it to happen. The reality is the goal in life is to be a situation shifter, a shaper of life, someone who can make things what you want them to be. And if that is you, then the things not happening your way are just an example of how you failed to shape it in a way that was necessary to allow you to achieve what you wanted to achieve.
Yes, because before plans fail, you see something that can be done if you act right now that will save the plan. And if you fail to act, that's when things don't go as planned, as we would call it.
That's right.
So that means you observed something and you allowed it.
Yes.
Which created the conflict.
Or maybe even created it.
Without a doubt.
And so lots of, I just think when we think about the reflection process, it's important that we recognize our own existence in the challenge what happened and how we played a part in all things that we're experiencing, and negative and positive. Nothing happens to you by accident. I don't believe there's any accidental things. It's a series of things that culminate to the incident.
Yeah, can I tell a quick story?
Yeah, please.
So, and this was maybe, I don't know, last year at some point, but my wife, we have this, and I have stopped calling it this, but we have this whoopsie account because she kind of makes a whoopsie and it's going to cost us, right? She backed out of the garage and hit her rearview mirror on the wall, and it knocked it off. It cost like $800 to get fixed. And when she told me the news initially, I wasn't in the car, I wasn't home, I wasn't around, I was not there. Yeah. And when I heard the news, I wanted to point fingers.
What did you want to do?
Oh man.
What did you want to do?
I wanted to talk crazy.
What did you want to say about her?
I can't say that, right? I plead the fifth. Yeah. But here's what I did in that moment. I was silent and I chose to reflect. And I accepted the news and I said, okay, well, let's finish the day strong and let's do what we've got to do. Love you to death, love you to life, and let's connect later. And then I thought, what can I do to ensure that doesn't happen? I can make sure that the garage is so clean and there's nothing on the floor, that she has plenty of space, that she doesn't have to park close to this side or that side. It gives us plenty of room, to park in the garage. And if I do that, I think that, or if I would have done that, she wouldn't have hit the mirror off her car. And I cleaned the garage, got everything off of the floor so that there was more space in the garage. And ever since, it hasn't happened. Mm-hmm. So I saw that as my fault, although I wasn't there at that time. Instead of just getting pissed, how do you even do that?
Well,
how is that even possible?
Well, it's important to note that your first reaction was to condemn and complain.
Yeah, I wanted to.
And point fingers. And that is just so natural of a reaction for a human being to face. So if you are going through adversity, or it's leg day for you, recognize the fact that you're probably condemning and complaining first, and try to remove that out of the processing of this obstacle here.
Yeah, so we have the ability to create and shift any situation so that it is favorable.
Yes.
So in that time, although I wanted to condemn and complain and criticize her, I looked and said, what can I do to make sure, or what did I allow that created?
Because it was series of things that happened ahead that created the incident, right?
Junk in the garage.
Which came from a lack of putting shit away from the very beginning.
Without a doubt.
Because it came in there, and at some point you was like, man, just leave it there, and I'll get to it later. So procrastination led to junk being in the garage, which led to not having enough room, which led to her backing up and knocking the thing off.
Without a doubt. That was all me.
And so, like, but you see how in life there's a series of things that happen way ahead of in advance, and you can't connect the dots looking forward. Only looking backwards doesn't make sense.
I.e., when the student is ready, the teacher arrives.
Yeah.
So, yeah, your static stretches, that's equivalent to the reflection that needs to take place. Do not allow yourself to dismiss what you did to create the event. So after you stretch, man, we need some protein. We got to fuel up. And application to life or business is the development of the new plan of action to move forward.
Yeah, I would also add the fueling component is reading or learning about something that about how that has worked out in other areas. There's like we always say that knowledge is abundant and desire is scarce. This is an opportunity to dive into some information. Google exists on your phone. And anything that you're experiencing right now has also been experienced in life by someone else. Although you feel like it may be unique to you, there is billions of human beings on Earth, and everybody's going through very similar circumstances as you are today. That's why when you Google something, it's already been searched. I've never Googled anything where I was the first one to do it.
Yes.
Like where it just came back and was like, doesn't exist. Like there's some semblance of what I'm trying to understand that's on the web. And that means that people have already experienced that. So try to share experiences to get more perspective that allows you to create a different, better plan next time.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So I would say in that process of consuming knowledge, you have to collaborate when you develop that plan, with the appropriate party. So that could be colleagues at work, it could be your spouse, it could be your business partners, whomever it may be, but there needs to be collaboration, as that plan of course correction is being developed.
Yeah.
You good with that?
Absolutely.
Okay, now here's the piece I like. After someone hits it, like let's say someone's getting back in shape and then they hit leg day, they don't go back to the gym for days because it's severe, and then they can't walk right because they didn't do the cool down, they didn't do the stretch, and it just gets worse and worse. And eventually, I'm done with my workout. So it's really important to work out the next day. After leg day, you better work out the next day.
Give me the business equivalent of that.
Yeah, so I have develop a plan to execute tomorrow with the course correction added in.
Okay.
So you don't go into the next day saying, okay, it was leg day, that was rough, let me go to sleep and then wake up tomorrow and tomorrow will just be better. Mm-hmm. No, I have to course correct. I have to adjust according to the collaboration that took place, the research that I've done. I've seen how people in the past have maneuvered around the obstacle here or gone through it or whatever needed to happen. Okay, and then I develop a new plan to attack the day with tomorrow so I can win.
Let me give you another analogy here. When you fall off the bike as a kid, what do they tell you to do? Get back on that bike, because falling off creates fear, and the only way to conquer your fear is to do it again successfully. Failing in life or facing adversity creates fear, and you doubt. Oh, maybe it can't be done, or maybe we should do it differently, or maybe I'm not the one, or I'm not going to do this the right way. And the fear that's created there, it can remove the ability or the willingness to try it again, just in a slightly different way.
That's it. I really like that. I think probably everybody can remember when they learned how to ride a bike without training wheels or without help.
And man, let me tell you this story. I was riding bike in 6th grade, or getting ready to go. No, 8th grade, and I'm riding with my friend Jeff Edwards, and Jeff and I it's the day before freshman year of school, right? Like the day before, and I'm riding down this big ass hill on Lackman Road here in Kansas City. and they had messed up the curb at some point down there. It blocked it off, and it was like crumbled. And I'm riding down the bicycle. I hit that curb, and I flipped over and tore my ass up. Face got all mashed the day before at school.
Ooh, that hurts.
So yes, I remember what it feels like to fall off the bike, and guess what? I rode my bike home.
You didn't walk next to it.
Man, I wanted to. Hey, I was really out, but here's one thing that did happen. And this is why I tell the story. I was aware of the curbs for the rest of my life. I never once overlooked the fact that the curb may be messed up, which the adversity in my life at that point helped me learn something, that sometimes you're riding your bike down hills and sometimes curbs can be messed up, i.e., sometimes when you're doing things and you're working with people, sometimes things can not happen, and it creates this awareness.
Increase of awareness, yeah.
And it creates, the reps necessary to find success in adversity in the future when the same thing could potentially happen.
Yeah, man, that's good. Increased awareness is what that creates. And I really love the analogy of getting back on the bike, because if you don't, man, more and more fear develops. Mm-hmm. So getting right back on that bike, Les would say, hey, man, let's just walk home.
Face messed up, man, you better.
Yeah, man, let's just push the bike home, But, man, it takes courage to increase your level of awareness, recognize what you did to, create the event that took place, or the seat that we're sitting in currently. And, man, let's do something about it. Let's create that plan, collaborate, and attack the day like it was day one. You talk about every day being day one. I think that's where we go next. It's like, hey, you keep working out, because truth be told, people pay for gym memberships. Life's supposed to give you adversity to help make you better. When, the student is ready, the teacher shows up. Is that what you say? Yeah.
That's what I told you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, man, if every day is day one, we've got to keep working out, and we've got to look forward to the resistance and the opportunity created by the miscalculation or lack of awareness, if we'll say in terms of the curve that's been there all along.
Yeah. When I say, the whole premise of the student, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, is all about self-understanding and putting it back on you as to why things aren't happening the way you'd like them to be. That's the whole premise of it. It goes back to step one. What was my part in this? Yeah. And when I'm riding down the hill in 8th grade, my part was I wasn't paying no damn attention. Now I know, if I'm riding a bike, focus, pay attention. You could get hurt. Don't be stupid.
That's it. My kids got injured, and I let them know, hey, this is my fault. This is ineffective parenting, especially when we're talking about athletics, because I spent so much time in the field. And they didn't get it. Well, Dad, how is it hey, this is 100% reflective of my leadership. You're injured right now. If we did things appropriately, you wouldn't be. So, we made that list of what creates a leg day. I think you've got to recognize, hey, you did that. Your kids are sick. Someone's injured. Mm-hmm. You were late to work. You have a flat tire. It's because you've probably been riding on it too long and you needed some new ones.
No doubt. Or you knew it was a little there. It needed some air, but you didn't go ahead and put it in. You went ahead and went home. Yeah. And we're like, man, I'll do it tomorrow. And then you got up and that thing was flat.
Without a doubt, man, the ground beef was in the fridge. All I had to do was brown it.
Yeah, but you just, didn't want to do it.
I didn't want to brown the meat.
You figure you might just do it tomorrow. We'll have tacos tomorrow.
We'll have tacos tomorrow. It ain't that, but we'll go out to eat tonight. Yeah. It's kind of what I thought. So. Man, when you experience leg day, you guys know what to do. And I'll run through this list. You do a cool down. You do static stretches. You eat protein. You get back on the bike. You work out the next day. You reflect some more and attack every day as if it were day one. Okay, so hopefully you guys will implement this strategy. Recognize when the day gets hard. Finish the day out. Collaborate to develop that plan after you've had the time to reflect, and attack the day tomorrow as if it were day one. Every obstacle can be overcome if you have the proper mindset. No pity parties allowed in this thing, man. You guys get off the stoop.